Colt fans, JB here with another Topic Tuesday. We wanted to give you an update on the Colt Python and talk a little bit about the frequently asked questions that we got while we were out at the SHOT Show, the Great American Outdoor Show, and that we continue to get on our customer service lines. Here we go. First, we have heard of some light strikes out in the field. We've seen and experienced some light strikes here, typically with imported ammunition. We can reliably kind of reproduce these results depending on primarily what ammunition we use. We do recommend the use of only SAMI certified quality brass cased ammunition with the Python, but after listening to feedback from customers, we've decided to kind of err a little further on the side of being able to shoot more variety of ammunition reliably. In order to facilitate, we're going to change to a slightly modified mainspring in order to lessen the potential for light primer strikes, primarily on, again, hard primer or non-SAMI ammunition. This will have a small effect on the trigger pull, but it still falls within the spec of 7 to 9.5 pounds in double action. We've also seen a small number of guns where the side plate screws were loose, causing the cylinder not to turn. Now, I want to explain the mechanism for this because if you're not familiar with a Colt revolver, this may not seem intuitive, which is that the side plate provides support for the hand, which is actuated by the trigger and turns the ratchet on the cylinder. So, if the hand isn't properly supported by the side plate, then the hand can push outside of the ratchet on the cylinder and miss intermittently because of the extremely close tolerances. We will be using a thread locker going forward to eliminate this possibility entirely. But if you've experienced this or have a gun with a loose side plate, we'd rather you send it back to Colt and have us check the hand and ratchet for damage, as well as retorque to sequence and thread lock the side plate screws properly. At the moment, the prevailing theory is that they may not have been tightened to spec when they left the factory. But that being said, we want to urge customers not to remove the side plate on Colt revolvers. Next, we've had questions about whether the gun can be dry fired, and yes, the transfer bar design of the new Colt Python does allow for safe dry firing without damaging the revolver. One thing worth mentioning is that the trigger needs to be fully reset on all double action revolvers, which means coming all the way back forward on the trigger, much further than you would if you're shooting a pistol. In addition, if you thumb cock the Python to shoot single action while you still have the trigger depressed from the previous shot, you may cause the cylinder not to turn. These aren't things that are unique to the Python or even Colt revolvers. Whenever you thumb cock any double action revolver, make sure the trigger is not depressed even a little bit. So again, feel free to dry fire the gun in order to get acquainted with the double action trigger pull and reset. This is going to make you a better shooter in the long run anyways. The leading cosmetic concern has been some damage around the crown. We noticed this issue in manufacturing and we thought we had kind of caught it, but obviously some units did make it out the door. We know that your Python is probably a prized possession and you probably waited a long time to get it. So even though we know that this damage to the crown doesn't really affect the functionality of the gun, please give us a call on our customer service line, get an RMA, get a prepaid label, and get that in, and we'll address the damage. That's no problem. Lastly, the number one question we still get is, where and when can I get my Python? Now, go to our Colt website, go to the upper right-hand corner to find your local stocking dealer. Make sure you go to your local Colt stocking dealer, put in an order with them. They'll back that order up with a distributor order if they already don't have one on order that could potentially get your name on it. Kind of the bottom line to all of this is there's a line of people out there who are going to get Pythons, and you want to make sure you're in that line. It's going to be a long time before Pythons are just sitting in distribution and your dealer could just call up and get one off of a distributor shelf. They're just not enough available yet. So make sure you're in that line. That's it for this week. Leave us some comments below and we'll see you next week on Topic Tuesday.